Hello and welcome. Is this or is it that? Oh, that's all. I'm Brett Dupree. This is my awesome health journey. You just saw me how I figure things out in real time. Yeah. Today's vlog. I know people you won't call these podcasts as they're more vlogs, but I guess it could be podcasts. But you can't subscribe. I always think podcast is something you put on RSS feed or some sort of podcast feed, and you can put it on your phone and everything. It's just a YouTube vlog because you can see me. See, look at me. Hi, I'm Brett Dupree. Watch me. Pop, 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 pop. Hey, ho. Anyway, today I'm talking about something I actually talked about yesterday, which was the intuitive eating thing. Man, I gotta use a straw when I drink my coffee. I put turmeric in my coffee. I don't really see it until I see myself on video. Then I can't not see it. Then I'm embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed. Today I'm talking about podcasts, which is funny that I talked about this is not a podcast because I didn't actually plan that, but this actually makes me look like I did. Huh. Anyway, one thing I think is important, it's like in a year and a half journey, but this is something I've done all my life since I was 26. I don't know why I said all my life. Since 26, I decided to change my life. I used to be a person with social anxiety, would never do this, what I'm doing now, putting it out there, would never really talk to people. I was petrified of women, so petrified. But then I worked on myself, got me better. I can have conversations, relationships, real friendships. Got to the point now I can have really heartfelt conversations and be emotionally vulnerable, something I can never be. I mean, I used to get to the point where I was vulnerable. I would have to felt like I had to wash myself from the inside. It was such a weird feeling. My stomach would, for some reason, contract and vibrate in a weird way that apparently is something only I do. Because that's one of the things where I've asked people that happened to them, and everyone that looks at me like I'm crazy. Like, no, people don't do that. Well, apparently I did every time I talked and been vulnerable with people. Could feel my stomach just vibrate. It was weird. Anyway, one thing I've done and definitely did, and I've said it many before, is listen to podcasts and listen to YouTube videos of people talking about it. And especially if you want to set your mind at ease, we live in an amazing freaking time that I feel like a lot of us as human beings don't take advantage of. Because if you want to know something, there's an expert out there, and I say expert, don't listen to charlatans, anyone who's like, don't do this, but buy my supplement. Don't listen to that person. Uh, Basically, all that information is out there, ready for us. And especially if you're working on something to help change your mindset, surrounding yourself with people who talk about the thing that you want to change, I think is extremely important. Since I've been doing this intuitive eating thing, I've listened to multiple intuitive eating podcasts. I've listened to multiple body positivity podcasts. And it's really unfortunate because, holy crap, there's just no men uh, as subject of body positivity. It is hard to find. I can find a couple on TikTok, which is nice. But, stupid patriarchy making it so men can't feel sorry for how they look. It's only women who can. I mean, I'm not saying like, woe is me, I'm a man, but same time, us men screwed it up for ourselves on that one. I'm allowed to have shame for my body. Stupid men for making me feel like I can't and not having podcasts to talk about the male perspective of body shame. But anyway, but yeah, listening to podcasts about it, listening to ways you want to change your life and reinforce ideas. For instance, I haven't got to the part of the book, or it didn't point out to me when I was going through the workbook of intuitive eating, how intuitive eating isn't just hungry eating. Because honestly, a lot of the mindful eating stuff I worked with before with my nutritionist was about hunger cues, and I had hunger cue worksheets with my therapist and the nutritionist. And a lot of the workbook so far has been tapping into my hunger cues. And so in my mind, I really associate hunger with intuitive eating. But then I've been listening to more people, including the person who wrote the book, how that's just a part of it. That intuitive eating is also eating because you know you need to intuitively eat even though you're not hungry at this point. For many reasons. For instance, you know you're not hungry now, but you're about to go on like a 3 hour drive and you don't want to stop. So you eat before the 3 hour drive. or you're about to go watch a movie or something, you're about to do something that's 3 hours, and you know you're going to be hungry in like 2 hours, but you don't want to go out and you want to save some money, so you eat now. That's intuitive, like planning, because that's part of intuitive eating. Like all those aspects of it. Planning eating is also intuitive eating. Uh, Even if you're not hungry, it might have nothing to do with hunger. It might just have to do with your schedule at this time. You might not be hungry at lunch if you have a 9 to 5, but you have an hour work. So you eat then because you're not gonna have. Let's say your lunch breaks at 1, and you're not gonna get hungry till 2, but you're gonna eat at 1 because you intuitively know you can't eat at 2, right? So just listening to that podcast got me, I think, more mentally prepared for what's happening. I guess it's gonna be like 3 weeks or 4 weeks before Ozempic takes my appetite away, but yeah, so I'm prepared for that with the idea of intuitive eating. Oh, just something that hasn't come up with my nutritionist yet. And it's something that if I read it in the book, it didn't hit in my brain. Probably because I've always been willing to eat and wanting to eat, even when I'm not hungry. Eating when I'm not hungry has never been a problem for me. It's been very simple. Eating when eating when I feel nauseous. When I'm sick and I feel terrible, I want to eat generally something garlicky, but I still want to eat. But yeah, so I think it's important. I've been listening to, let's look at some of the podcasts I've been listening to. Um, How to Fight Wellness Information podcast, Food Psych podcast, a couple. Body Kindness. I listen to a lot of that one, even though there's not a lot of new ones, unfortunately. Was one I listened to. There's a couple on YouTube that I listened to. What the Fork, I believe it's called. I listened to a couple of them. And Upbeat, Beat spelled BET. These two like younger ladies talk about their intuitive eating, because they're intuitive eating practitioners. I listen to some of their podcasts and just listening to them and help reinforcing ideas, because that's a really good part about it. If you want to change your mindset about something, listening to it over and over again helps really solidify it in the brain juice. So I suggest to you, especially if you have a commute, that's like a great time because it gets in your unconscious, I believe, because you're driving, you're paying attention, you're half paying attention to what you're listening to, so it really gets in there. And I think it's just a really good way to reinforce the way you want to live. Is surround yourself with media that increases your desire to live the life you want. So yeah, this one is just something I do, and then I suggest. I don't know why I'm doing this. Look at me, video blog. You can see me, but it's weird because you see the opposite of me. Like this is my right side of my face. This is my left side of the face. It's opposite for me. Like it's always weird watching me. It's probably I'm always watching me. Anyway, it's like an alternate version of me, in a parallel universe. Like and subscribe.